Hello everyone, welcome to YK Review. It's going to be a bit of a different video here. As you can see, I've got my good friend Jason Entertainment here with me. So we're going to be talking about the Spiral Book of Saw movie, discussing it, positives, negatives, and what we thought about the movie in general. It's going to be a bit of a different setup here since I'm not in my regular setup. I'm in a different room. Also, with doing this video collab here. Also, if you haven't, guys, subscribe to the channel. Jason Entertainment does some great content here. I've done a lot of collabs with him in the past, so definitely check out his channel. Link will be in the description down below. I'm going to throw it out there right now because I'll probably forget throughout the video. But first of all, how are you doing today?
Thank you, man. I thank you so much for that, guys. Subscribe to YK2. He's amazing, man. You already know him. I don't have to explain who he is. He's just so cool. And yeah, like you said, we had some collabs already. Maybe we'll leave it on the description down below. We watched Wonka together, and we also covered the movies of 2023 that are coming in the late years. So definitely check that out. And yeah, I'm doing great, man. I can't wait to talk about Spiral because I'll probably be in the minority here. I'll probably have a different opinion about this movie.
Before we actually started recording, you were telling me that you haven't seen all of the previous Saw movies,
No.
right?
Yeah, no, I did the opposite. I started watching Spiral and then I started watching Saw 1. I think I watched Saw 2 when I was a bit young. So no, sorry. So definitely the first one I watched was Saw 2. But like literally that I remember and I went to the movie theater or I rented on DVD to really watch it was Spiral and then Saw 1. So yeah, so that's why like my approach and my vision of this franchise might be a bit different because everybody who saw everybody has seen Saw from the first one to Spiral. So yeah, you're right.
Do you think you'll be check out the other movies, like the other Saw
Yeah,
movies,
like
or
like yeah, that's on my plan. Yeah, to it's because I never watched Saw because like I don't like gore porn, man. Like this is too much, man. I don't. Sorry for the expression. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know, man. I'm not really into that, but yeah, that's when I got to see Spiral. I gave it a try, man. Can't wait to share it.
is it like too queasy for you? Like you don't like seeing bones and like that kind of stuff?
I mean, like I said, like the first Saw was very interesting because like there's really like a morality like behind it and everything. So like yeah, like for sure you have like the gore and everything, but once you go beyond that, that's where you realize what they actually wanted to do. But I feel like the other Saws were just like, okay, let's throw some gore and everything, or at least that's my perspective of someone who has just heard it from his friends and everything. But when I saw Spiral, I thought actually there was a morality here, and that's why like I was really like, damn, this movie is actually pretty good. And actually, this movie was in my top 10 movies of what it was in 2021, right? 2021 Spiral. Well, it was in my half year,
Yeah,
but then it
2021.
got moved. Yeah, but then it got moved out. But at least it was in the half, my top 10 in the half year. So that was cool.
All right, so with the Spiral Book of Saw movie, we were discussing this as well. I don't think it's canon to the previous Saw movies. It doesn't have the famous Tobin Bell, John Kramer in it. It's got an interesting cast, to say the least. In terms of the cast, like what are your thoughts about the cast? Like Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson in there, amongst others. Like, what are your thoughts, first of all, for like Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson being part of like a horror movie here?
Yeah, so that's definitely something you don't see them doing often. So that was very interesting, very bold. I have to say that I think Chris Rock nailed it. I honestly like after watching this one, like I started to follow more Chris Rock. I mean, I did know him from Madagascar specifically, but yeah, I really started to really follow him more. Like because like yeah, I don't know, like he really yeah, I liked what he did in this movie. Samuel L. Jackson, he was barely in the movie. Like he was just for the promotion. He was barely in the movie. So it was like honestly, I don't think Samuel L. Jackson did something too memorable. It was just like Samuel Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson. But Chris Rock, yeah, definitely, I think he went a bit. He made a step further, and that was really interesting. And I did like that aspect. So yeah, what about you? What do you think about the casting?
I was surprised to have Chris Rock in there because for me, I feel like I know him more of like comedy,
Yeah.
in comedy roles. Like he was in Grown Ups, I believe it was. He's like you mentioned Madagascar. He does stand up special, so I was genuinely surprised to have Chris Rock front and center part of the Spiral movie. Samuel L. Jackson, yeah, like you said, he wasn't in too many scenes other than like his introduction to the movie and then like the third act
Yeah,
and whatever happens. By the way, this is going to be a spoiler discussion, so if you haven't seen the movie, it's going to be showing in the title of the video, but it is spoiler review. So having him at the end, that third act, and getting like what happened to him at the end, getting killed off and everything, those are the two memorable scenes I
yeah,
remember from him. But to be honest with you, the rest of the cast, I have no idea. Like, I've not seen them in any of the previous work. But for me, the biggest disappointment was just like Tobin Bell not being part, like the original Jigsaw, John
yeah.
Kramer, not being part of it. But we'll talk about more because I have a lot of things when it comes to this
Oh
movie.
my god, yeah, yeah. I can understand that. Yeah,
Okay, so in terms of the movie, in terms of the plot itself, pretty simple. One person is taking out police officers one by one in an attempt to call out Chris Rock's character, Zeke. Zeke has this backstory about not being able to trust police officers. So it's sort of got that little sort of aura about it. But I want to hear your positives first for the movie. Like, what are your thoughts about the plot? What you liked about the movie? What you enjoyed about it?
all right. So, like I said, like one of my positive is Chris Rock. I think like for me, he does deliver. Because like I'm actually glad that they kind of stick with him like as a comedic, like his comedic roots were still a bit there. You know, like he has some little comedic lines there, but he's also very serious. And I think like he was very, yeah, he brought something different. You know, like it was refreshing to see like a comedian doing a horror movie. Like that was really refreshing. And yeah, I think he really, for me, was one of the standouts. So Chris Rock definitely was cool. I think the kills were interesting. Like I think, like you know, like in this one in Spiral. So maybe for you it wasn't good, but for me, like you know, like it was bloody, it was gory, but like we didn't go. It wasn't only that. You know, like I was glad that the kills were meant for something. It wasn't just oh let's kill because I don't know we want to see some brains pop out or everything. Like this was like these specific people were tortured and killed because they did something and like yeah like and I felt like at the end like that was satisfying in that aspect. So I thought like every death meant something and it wasn't just like yeah just let's throw some gore to these psychos and to these psychos that love these kind of movies. And yeah, so that was really cool. So I think that's another positive for me. um Here you might not be with me, but I kind of like the reveal at the end. I think like so if I compare this reminds me a lot of Halloween Ends, I think, where you know you have like this successor that wants to be like the new killer in a sort of way. So here
Yeah.
like you know we have like it's not the original Jigsaw, but it's someone who wants to be like Jigsaw, and then we know what he really is. But so that reminded me of Halloween Ends, but I feel like here it was actually kind of well done, at least on my perspective, was well handled than let's say Halloween Ends, which that was made weirdly, you know, like that was like yeah, I'm not sure about this, but this like so like you said, it was unfortunate to not see like the real Jigsaw here, but I think that's where for me like that's where actually this elevates a little bit more because they went fully with they were fully committed to present you someone different. Like you know, it's another generation. It's someone who wants to be like this idol or whatever. So that's why like I was like, okay, here at least like they're really going for it, you know. So yeah, those were like my positive. I think. Oh yeah, also like you know some things like cinematography. I think like the colors were really nicely done. You know when Chris Rock receives like the gift, the green box and everything. Like the colors were really well chosen in this movie. So yeah, like little details like that. But that's why for me, like honestly, like it's actually a solid movie. Like it's I liked it. So yeah, those are my positive. What about you, YK?
Well, before I move on to
You
my
have any?
I like hearing your thoughts. I can kind of like understand where you're coming from. But before I move on to my positives, actually, I'm curious to know then, what's your favorite kill in this movie?
Ooh, that's a good question. There was some. I like the kill the police officer the woman like where I think she was
Angie.
splashed with yeah I think she was splashed with acid or the other guy in the train. That those two were my favorite kills. But those are that I remember mostly. Like I know there was others, but those two are like you tell me Spyro. I remember those two like if I saw it right now again. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
those were my. Yeah,
Yeah,
those were my favorite
the
kills, man.
police officer when she's like laying there, and I think it was like wax first
Yeah.
that it was like covering
Oh,
her face, and it was just like Chris Rock's reveal. I would really like that.
yeah.
Um, but when it comes to like you mentioned, like the performances was really well done. Like Chris Rock really did surprise me with his performance in this movie. Like he had that comedy nature to it, but it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't like joke after joke after joke
Yeah.
with Chris Rock. He really like brought that serious tone to it and got that really great serious element into the movie, especially when it comes to like his chemistry with Samuel L. Jackson, with his partner, with even like the tension between the police officers. I thought
Yeah.
was really well like handled. So I do have like positives when it comes to that, but like, that's where it kind of ends. When in terms of like the reveal itself, like I'll be completely honest, like the reveal sort of caught me off guard, but I kind like me and my wife watched it when it first came out, and she straight away caught on to him 2 minutes into like his appearance into the movie. She knew straight away, like, I bet you he's behind all of this. I was a bit slow towards
Yeah.
in the reveal, but I kind of caught onto it like before the third act came about. But I kind of liked the motives that he came up with and why he did it. It made sense. It wasn't just because, oh, I've heard about Jigsaw, I've read like it's about serial killers, so I want to be doing this. It's like, no, like you did this to my dad. This is the reason why I became the police officer. And even like the things that he was doing throughout the movie, like the clever scenes and the way he was like able to trick Chris Rock, like that part where
Yeah.
he was on the laptop and like that baby crying was just like an audio recording on his laptop, and he was pretending that he had a baby. I thought
Yeah.
was like
Yeah. True.
clever. Like it was clever with how he was going about everything. So that is kind of like my positives when it comes to the movie. But I want to hear from you like the negatives before I go on to my one.
For me, the negatives, I think it will be so I'm mixed about the plot. Like I think the plot is interesting, but that's where my negative comes. I don't think it's it's not well executed, or at least it left me a bit desiring. Like I think like yeah, the story like that they crafted specifically with the guy at the end, like yeah, that I think it was brilliant. You know, like you said, he tricked Chris Rock and everything because like Chris Rock is this guy that has a like he's really good at his work, and this guy like outsmart him. So that was really clever, and the way they revealed it was very good. But I don't know, like I feel like I don't know, like there was something missing for me, like during the execution of that plot. Like I feel like they could have done a bit more. I feel like they went just in a safe route. So that's where my biggest issue of the movie is. It's yeah, like I think they went too safe. Like I'm pretty sure they could have done something way better with the execution of a story that actually, like I said, it's really well crafted. Like they could have done a bit more with that. I don't know how to explain this necessarily, but I was left a bit desiring like something a bit different, you know, something a bit riskier, if I can
You
say
mean
like
like
that.
do you mean like the interaction between Chris Rock and the his partner, like at the end, and how he got away, or just like
Well, yeah, yeah, that too. But I think that's more because they want to put a sequel. But yeah, that too. Like so, like I don't know. Like well, first of all, Samuel L. Jackson, I think he needed to participate a bit more. He was just left out. Then like you know, like I think they go a bit quickly. Like only Chris Rock and his partner were like interesting. The others they had some interesting elements, but we go way fast with them. Like it's like they're just at this point they were just there to have a kill, and that's where I was a bit left disappointed because I felt like the police officer that got waxed, I think she was actually like having a good story there, like you know, and the others too. Like I feel like they could have been a bit fleshed out because the story was interesting. Like you know, it's a detective thing. Like they turned this like into a detective movie where like you have to solve these puzzles and everything. So that was really great, and also to include the police, I thought like that was really clever. It wasn't just like okay, come to a room and then you're gonna play these games to see if you really love your life or not. So that was really cool to see like you know something different here. But yeah, so that's why I was like I was left desiring some other like something different, like a different route, you know, like a different route with this with this the plot, like the execution of the plot. But yeah, that was my biggest issue. And yeah, of course, like I said, Samuel L. Jackson's participation was honestly you could cut him or you could replace him with another actor and they would have done the same effect. You know, it's just because but the only thing is the cash grabbing of Samuel L. Jackson. And that I found like it wasn't necessary, you know. And at the end, also like the ending, like I like that the guy wins, but like the only thing, it's like my big another problem I have is like we don't know what this movie is. Like I don't know, is it a spin-off? Now apparently it's like supposed to be like the ninth Saw movie, which that is even weirder because like this looks just, yeah, for me it's a spin-off. Like it's so random. Like, or it was like the initial of a new franchise that they saw it flopped. So that's where I'm like a bit like left, like what's going on here? And I don't know, like are they, I think they wanted to set up for a sequel and they're not gonna make it anytime soon. So that's another thing. I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know if they wasted potential here or not, but I think that's a studio's fault. But yeah.
You know, I can't like confirm or like say for sure that we'll never see a sequel, maybe, but I don't know, with like the upcoming sawx movie being part of like the original like canon, I don't know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen with this one, which is a shame because it did have like wasted opportunity. I just think because like a lot of my negatives is that it didn't feel like a Saw movie.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like having calling it Spiral may have been like the way to go about having it attached like the Book of Saw and just playing that element, because one thing that was really bugging me in the whole movie is when you have Jigsaw doing the voice recording. Normally with the previous movies, it sounds like John Kramer. It sounds like a male voice talking, saying, "Do you
Yeah.
want to play the game?" and like explaining the rules of the games. With this one, it just sounded like Siri was talking from like an iPhone. Like the voice just really was bugging me a lot with that. And then you had like the little pig as a puppet, which Billy the puppet is like iconic, and he's with his little bicycle and stuff. So having a little pig with like string puppets just did not work for me whatsoever. So those
Okay.
two elements just really took me out of the movie. But also, it, like I said, it didn't feel like a Saw movie. It did. If you took it away out of like Saw franchise and you had this sort of like murder mystery detective theme of a movie, I feel like it would have worked. Like the plot and the storyline did mesh well together. The casting, like you mentioned, it wasn't like you didn't really root for the characters. There wasn't really like that investment in it. You have
Yeah.
these characters show up, like for example, that captain. She did appear in a couple of flashbacks with Samuel L. Jackson about why she's like a corrupt police officer. Which, okay, like that storyline was going good up until like her death scene. Which, as great as her death scene was, it kind of just like was okay. Well, then I guess that's it. Like nothing's going
Yeah.
to be explored after that. And even in terms of like you're talking about the police corruption, that wasn't really explored further. Like that's a good element to bring into like this type of movie, but that wasn't really explored. Like you got the first police officer in the beginning of the movie gets killed off by a train, another one gets his fingers pulled off, another one gets wax on
Oh,
their face, and so like you have like these decent deaths, but none of that was just really played into. So then normally with Saw movies, you've got like the Saw game, you focus on like these characters that you've been invested in previous movies and how it works. Whereas this one just really did feel like a separate movie focusing on like a detective murder, which would have worked well if it wasn't attached to Saw itself.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think yeah, that's what I couldn't find earlier on. It's yeah, like that's what I mentioned about like you have a good like story, but you don't know how to execute it well because like you see like you have a flashback of this detective, you know she's corrupted, so you could have done something with that, or even you have the corruption, you could have like explore more because I thought that was going to be the morale of the story or that huge plot, you know, but they didn't do it necessarily. Like so that's why like although I said earlier on, like the death scenes were nice because they meant something, but they weren't executed well. Like they were fun to watch. They were important in the story, but at the end of the day, it didn't mean that much because you weren't even invested too much on these characters. And yeah, based on Saw One, like every character had, they weren't just killed for no reason, and you could feel it, like you know. So this one, it was just like, do you have to kill them? At least let's do it nice, let's do it properly. So it was cool to see it, but yeah, but they didn't do anything more. Like that's why I thought the female police officer, like she was going to be important, and they kind of make you think she's going to be, but at the end no, like we don't care. She's just dead. I'm like, what? So that's where I was like, yeah. And yeah, like you said, yeah, I think that's why I wanted to come and talk about Spirals, because I believe that since I watched Spiral first, I believe that yes, if this movie was just the beginning of a new like Saw, like nothing to do with the old ones, just a new beginning, or just a movie that has nothing to do with Saw, it would have been actually great. Because like that's how I went for this movie. Like I didn't know Saw, so for me it was very new, and I was actually on board, you know. So that's why like that's why I felt like I needed to come and talk about it, like to give that perspective, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, no, which I can completely understand. Like, and I do see your positives with it, and I can understand that. I believe that if I hadn't, if it, like I said, if it wasn't any previous Saw movies, I would have enjoyed it a lot more, because these movies do remind me of like the early 2000 movies. Like there was a movie like Mystic River with I believe it was Sean Penn or somebody else. Like it had similar vibes to that Mystic River movie. It's got like those early 2000 vibes to it, so
Yeah.
it could have worked well. And the setup to a sequel, I think, has got a lot of potential. Like in terms of for you, like if they do make a sequel, what would you like to see with this?
Oh well. First of all, the return of I keep forgetting his name, but well, the return of Chris Rock, but also his partner, because I
Yeah,
love that he won. Like literally, he kind of won. So I love that. Like he won, and that was great. That was nice to see. Like, you know, and usually in horror movie, it's like, no, well, it's either everybody loses, but here it's like he lost, but he still, you know, like if Chris Rock would have died, that yeah, you would say like, oh damn, dude. Like I think this is even worse. Like you're still alive, you know, like they killed your father, you know, the guy who you thought was your partner is still alive, and you went and like he outsmarted you. Like that's crazy. So
yeah,
for sure, like I would have loved to explore it, but I would have loved like to him to start to be like this Jigsaw figure, you know, like getting away from the original Jigsaw and starting to be his new Jigsaw personality. So that would have been cool, you know, like to see like this Jigsaw religion or cult, let's say like that. That would have been really fun. Like they expand that. Um, for sure, yeah, Chris Rock's character. But I don't. Like, I guess it's just like Chris Rock getting revenge on him, but or maybe I would have loved for the second one to introduce someone new. Chris Rock would pass like a little bit, like I don't know. Let's say Chris Rock, he had some not mental issue, but he needed to rest a little bit from this. So you have someone new, like you know, because I'm pretty sure this guy, maybe he wants to go and try to stop other corrupted corporations, which that would have been fantastic in the society. I don't know, uh, maybe I don't know people that take away I don't know. I'm just saying this in my head. Like people that are taking away homes, you know, homes of people and everything, or they're selling the price way too high. Let's say something like that. So that would have been fun for him to do that, and that's why you have another character, but you have Chris Rock as this mentor, or he comes later on. That would have been cool, you know. So that's what I would have loved them to really expand this, because I think they had something solid from the beginning, and that would have been cool to explore further on.
no, that I do like that aspect of having him go into other corrupt police officers, but I just feel like with this, it kind of you got like a mental block when it comes to what other possible avenues to go for. Because now that he's revealed, Chris Rock can easily out him out. So other possible avenues to go for is that he recruits people similar to like John Kramer in the other movies, gets like apprentices to do his dirty work or that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, have somebody else other than Chris Rock be part of the movie, I feel like could work. But I do feel like they need to detach from the Saw, because like I mentioned,
Yeah.
the voice for like Jigsaw just really just didn't work for me when it comes to like because it really did sound like too robotic and
Yeah,
too
that's true. Yeah.
series. So it just I really just wasn't a fan of that. But yeah, I feel like they have got possible avenues to go for. I don't know if they will do it or if not, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what happens after sawx.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of that, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So what are because this is the last one before Saw X, so what are you expecting for Saw X? Or what would you love to see, or like yeah.
Well, because it's taking place between Saw 1 and Saw 2, I'm hoping that based because
Okay.
I'm trying to not see too much of in terms of like clips or final trailers or that kind of stuff. I've just seen
Yeah.
the first trailer, so I want to avoid anything else. But based on what I'm seeing, is that like they're gonna amp the gore, the traps. It's going to be really heavily focused on John Kramer, which they do explore that in other movies, but you sort of have him as like flashbacks or background characters, and then the main characters are what's being explored. So this looks like it's John Kramer, Tobin Bell's going to be front and center of all of this, which I'm actually really excited about. Like Tobin Bell does such a fantastic job as John Kramer in every single Saw movie. Like he is such a standout. So to have him front and center, I'm just really pumped to see what he's going to do with this movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that was, like I said, it was a bold choice. Either it could have gone very well for Spiral to not have him, or it could have gone very wrong for them, and that's actually how it ended out. But yeah, for sure. Like I don't think I'm going to watch Saw X immediately. Like I think I need to catch up some of them. But I think actually people told me just watch 1 and 2. You should be good for Saw X.
Yeah, because it takes place in between those two movies, so you have to watch Saw 1 and then Saw 2 to kind of understand like possibly what's going on. But I feel like to just enjoy the whole experience, you got to watch Saw 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of like twists, turns, especially with like the characters. For me, I enjoy it. I have a lot of like negatives with like the movies, like certain like 4, 5, 6, and 7. But I enjoy like it's one of my guilty pleasures franchise because it's just so stupid, but it's just so funny watching these twists and turns and just seeing these people try to like escape and try to do like these clever ways of escaping traps. So it's enjoyable for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I understand that.
So in terms for you then, like in terms of Saw X, just based on Saw 1 and like the Spiral movie, what are your thoughts for this? Like, have you seen the trailer for this actually? Like what?
So no, I didn't see the trailer for this. Lately, I haven't been seeing a lot of trailers. Like I've been missing them. So yeah, no, I didn't see this trailer, but this one because like I don't know that much the Saw franchise. Which now comes to think of it, why did they call it Saw X if it's like a prequel? That's kind of weird, no?
I think it's the same with the Spiral one, calling it Saw 9. They're calling it because it's like the 10th movie in the whole franchise, even though it's not really the 10th movie. Like I said, Spiral is Saw 9, Jigsaw 2017 is Saw 8, but they're like different timelines and stuff. So but I like because you have such unique way of like using the logo, using the X. So
that was fun. I think it did like this. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's like one of the traps I'm really curious about, like the eyeball one, just to see like what that's gonna happen.
Yeah, so that I've seen a clip from there, and that looks disgusting, man. But yeah, like honestly, like if probably like I said, I'm going to watch probably Saw X, and for sure, what I'm looking for it's the gore. I'm looking for some nice kills. Also like just to have more of Jigsaw because he's so good. Like seriously, like. Yeah, like one thing I will admit from Spiral, like I said, although I like the fact that they didn't brought him, you do feel his absence. I will not lie about that. You do feel his absence, so that's why it's really nice to have him. But it's just like I don't know. For me personally, sometimes I'm like, yeah, you should put it to rest. You know, Toy Story, by the way. So you should sometimes move on, put it to rest. You know, and continue on. You know, life goes on, man. You can't have like I don't know like 24 or 25 Jason or Freddy, you know, like or Chucky, like at one point, like they have to die, right?
That's the thing though, is that with that when it comes to like horror stuff, it's gonna keep going because interestingly enough, today they came out with like that the Michael Myers, like the Halloween franchises, there's like a bidding war going on with like Halloween, who's gonna take over Michael Myers, and so it looks like the Halloween movies going to be rebooted in the future, so we're going to get another set of like Halloween stuff. So that one, you've got like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street being bought out eventually. That's going to have a reboot. This one, I don't think they're going to reboot it, but I have heard that they are planning on making more Saw movies now after this. I'm not sure if it's going to be similar to like, because you have like in terms of the movies, there's a lot of like gaps between each movie. So with this one taking place between Saw 1 and 2.
The next one will be between 2 and 3. You know, we're going to fill those gaps.
I think so, because they do want to make more movies. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. So we might get another like 3 or 4 movies. There's even a post-credit scene with this movie.
Oh yeah,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, like I read that there's a post-credit scene, so I don't think this is going to be the last Saw movie in the franchise.
But like for you, but is that an okay move for you? Like, do you think that's a good thing to do, or you would love to see them progress? Like, not like just because like for sure, like someone who does like me, like someone who didn't see really the Saw franchise, I would think that's kind of cash grabbing, you know, like just we're gonna fill those gaps just to have an excuse to make another Saw movie. But what about you, like someone who knows the Saw franchise and loves the Saw franchise? Like, are you okay with this, or like, or for you, it's like I don't mind as long as I have Jigsaw and Saw.
I think it depends on what they do with this movie. Like, if this movie turns out really great and is one of the better Saw movies, I'm all for it. Then like have more Jigsaw, have more Tobin. Like Tobin Bell, I honestly just can't get enough of him as John Kramer. Like he
Yeah,
is
that's true. Yeah,
he's perfect
yeah,
as
that's true.
John Kramer. So it depends on what they do with this movie because, like I said, there's a lot of gaps to fill. If they can tell a cohesive story along with like more creative traps, then go for it.
Yeah,
Like, no problem with me. But if this one is just sort of like another just run of the mill movies, you're just throwing in Jigsaw there. You like the characters aren't interesting, and it's it gives you more questions than answers when it comes to like the gap in between. Then I think they should just nip it in the bud.
yeah, I understand. Okay.
So that was our thoughts when it comes to the Spiral movie here. So bit of distinctive difference in terms of like the movie. I'm honestly, haven't heard much people talk positive about this movie, so it was great to hear. Like,
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
see on your channel, you're going to be defending
Yes.
Eternals, the Marvel's Eternals movie. So you do have that soft spot for movies I do see
Oh
here.
man.
The link is just going to be in the description for his channel, so you can go check out that video when it does post. Because I am really curious to hear your thoughts about Eternals, but it was good to hear like also your thoughts about this movie being more of a positive aspect with this movie here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for inviting me, man. Seriously, like this was really fun. It was really nice to hear like from a long time fan like you, and also a newbie like me, like to this franchise, to see like what do we think about this. And at least I'm glad like we know that Chris Rock actually did a good job, so that's at least a positive one. And yeah, honestly, like yeah, I can't wait to talk with you soon. And because also like YK reviews, I have some nice projects that are coming, and you're gonna be part of it. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to YK reviews, and also like I said, he will leave the description when those videos will come around, and yeah, we'll keep you noted, guys. But yeah, we have some very interesting things that we're cooking for you guys, and we can't wait to share it to you.
Yeah, there's a really exciting video coming up on the channel pretty soon. So I really am pumped for that. When do you think you'll check out sawx then?
Like so I have like this because like honestly like my friends are very chicken, they don't like horror movies. So I have like this friend, like she's really into horror, and she's actually a horror Saw fan. So I hope she says yes soon. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure when though, but yeah, hopefully like on October. I think in October I'm gonna watch it. But it's just like because you have Exorcist Believer and Pet Cemetery that come so close together. So that's why I'm like, oof, I'm going to try to fit my schedule. But hopefully in October. Like that's the month to watch Saw X. So hopefully in October, and hopefully I'll put a review for it, man. And I can't wait for to hear your review. When are you gonna watch Saw X? This
So I'm
weekend?
watching this Friday. I'm going to be watching it. So
Okay.
then review for that one will probably be posted on Saturday or Sunday, depending on
Okay.
like how I can edit it. And then there's going to be the tier ranking video for all the Saw movies, probably on Tuesday. So got a couple of videos coming out too. And then with Chucky, like you said, October is going to be a lot of things coming
Oh yeah,
out.
Chucky True season 3, huh?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
I'm really
But
excited.
it's only 4 episodes so far. That's the only like downside to it. It's like
Wait,
that.
what? The season 3 is only 4 episodes?
It's because they split it in two. So because it was in the middle of the strike, so they haven't
Oh yeah,
finished
okay,
the
yeah.
remaining seasons. So yeah, it's 4 episodes this year, and then the rest 4 episodes next year sometime.
Oh
So
my god. Okay.
yeah, you've got like Chucky, you've got Exorcist Believer, you've got Pet Cemetery. I'm going to be doing probably a breakdown of a horror franchise because last year I did Hellraiser, Halloween, and the Chucky movies
Okay.
on the channel. So this year I'm going to be doing another horror franchise, leaning towards Nightmare on Elm Street, but
Ooh, okay.
there is a lot of like horror movies. And oh yeah, Friday Nights of Freddy is also coming out in October.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
too,
Five Nights at
like,
Freddy. Yeah. I'm
so
actually excited for that one. So yeah.
me too. Like I think it's like running at an hour and 50 minutes, or no, 2 hours and
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, actually, that's good. 3 hours was too long. Like you really need to have a great story and like like the pacing will be crucial. Like if it was 3 hours, the pacing was going to be way crucial, and that's putting too much on a franchise that not everybody knows.
yeah, because it's coming out on streaming and in theaters.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
that's the only. But to be honest with you, I'm getting old, so I'll probably just watch it on streaming rather than like going out in theaters. Just
Thank you, Peacock.
yes, exactly.
Oh my god, yeah.
You think you'll watch it on streaming or theaters?
I don't know. Like that one, I really want to watch it in theaters, but it comes out like on a weekend that I really have to study a lot. So I'm gonna go with the Peacock route. maybe, maybe. Oh man, but yeah, I hope it's gonna be good, man.
Me too. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming out in October.
Yeah, it's gonna be full, man.
Thank you everyone so much for watching. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below in terms of the Spiral movie. Are you more with Jason? Are you more with me when it comes to like your opinions of the movie? Let us know in the comment section down below. And also don't forget, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, all that YouTube stuff. Same thing with Jason's channel too as well. Again, link is in description down below. But honestly, really appreciate you coming on my first collab of the channel. So pretty big milestone for me. So I appreciate you being the first to collab with me on the channel here.
Thank you, man. I'm so honored, man.
Thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This is YK Reviews and Jason Entertainment. Peace.
Peace.